Hello, Chef Womzi.
Hello, my darling.
Am I supposed to be calling you Chef Womzi?
No, you can call me Sis Womba.
Yeah. Well, no, but today, she's a chef today, okay? That's what she is. So, big sis thrown away.
Yes.
Chef Woms Noms. Yeah, I was just setting up for some of the guests coming. Are you excited to cook for us?
I am so excited.
And
yeah.
I brought you some good wine. A
Thank you.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. Yes.
Sauvignon Blanc. Why do you like this wine? For me, it's like my summer drink.
Exactly. It's one of those crisp wines, you know. It pairs really nicely with herb-driven sauces and with Thai dishes, which is what I'm doing today.
Oh, yum.
So yeah, we'll be making a Thai shrimp fried rice.
Awesome. I was so excited to find the shrimp. And you remember I just called you. I was like, I found some affordable shrimp.
Yes.
So
I'm so excited about that.
this is going to do really well. So this is what you decided to pair with the wine. Because I know I called you and I'm like, I'm getting some really important ladies coming over. What can you whip up with some Nederburg?
Yes.
So why do you love Nederburg though?
Nederburg is something that you can get on an everyday basis. You can host with friends. It's one of those very crisp wines. It's also very affordable, and it's just your go-to. It's beautiful. The taste, the aromas, the different palettes of the different brands of the wines. It's fantastic.
I love that you've worked with them so many times before, and this like special is just to celebrate you as a chef and all the incredible things you're doing.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to go and keep drinking as you cook.
Sure. Let me do my thing.
Let me see whether the ladies will be here, but do join in the conversation when this is finally out, okay?
No problem.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So today we're making the Thai shrimp fried rice. At the moment, I'm just cutting up some onions. We're gonna cut up some carrots, garlic, and a bit of parsley to go with it. And then we're also going to add a few Asian spices and condiments into the dish. There'll be some fish sauce, some sugar, vinegar, curry paste, and of course our shrimp, and also some eggs. So yeah. So now I'm just chopping up the carrots to go into the fried rice. So I'm just cutting them nice and thin so that they cook quickly. And next I'm just going to dice up some garlic. Okay, and the vegetables for the rice are ready. And then we're going to start cooking the food. Just adding some oil into the hot pan. So you want to make sure that the pan is quite hot. So I'm going to add in the onions, the carrots, and the garlic. We're gonna let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes before we add in the shrimp. So now I'm just chopping up some parsley. We're gonna throw this into the rice and we'll use it as well for the garnish. And next we shall be adding some fish sauce. So this is a staple sauce that they use in Thailand. It has a very distinct fishy flavor and smell, but it makes the food taste really delicious, and it's also quite salty. Next, we're gonna be adding some vinegar. This is some red wine vinegar, but you can add regular vinegar, white vinegar, brown vinegar. It'll do the same job. Then next we're gonna add a little bit of sugar, about 2 teaspoons of sugar, just to give it a little bit of sweetness and to balance out all the flavors. And next we're going to add a bit of oyster sauce as well. And then we're going to add our shrimp. These have been deveined and then only the heads have been left on. So these heads are going to add a lot of flavor to the dish because the shell carries a lot of fishy flavor. So we're going to let that sit in here for about 2 minutes just to allow the shrimp to cook. Then we will add the eggs followed by the rice. In the meantime, I will take a sip of my Sauvignon Blanc. So with me here, I have already prepared rice. This is some lovely mongo rice, which is going to go into our stir fry. And just give our shrimp a little bit of a mix. And next, I am going to add some soy sauce that has been mixed with some sesame oil. So the sesame oil will give it a really nice nutty flavor, and the soy sauce will also act as a seasoning agent for the dish. At this moment, I am going to crack a couple of eggs in here and whisk them up with a fork. See how the shrimp is doing. It's cooking nicely. So next, I will be adding the eggs into our wok. Just to give it a little bit of a fry, then we'll add the rice afterwards. So we'll allow that to sit in there for about a minute, just to allow it to cook a bit. So next, I shall be adding our pre-cooked rice into our wok. Okay, so I grew up on mongo rice. I was born and raised in Mongo for the first 15 years of my life, so this is the only rice I will be glad to eat. So mongo rice is very flavorful, and it's actually one of the rices that you'd actually find in Asian restaurants. They use this quite a lot because it mimics the rice in China and a lot of eastern parts of the world. And it sticks really nicely, so it makes really good eating with chopsticks. So next, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of parsley, for some color, some ambiance. I need to do a little bit of a taste test. Yeah, that's perfect. Believe it or not, our dish is ready. So now we're going to plate up our dish. Just going to place it in our bowl, just like that, nice and heaped. And we can make it look pretty. Put a couple on there. And finish off with some parsley. have it. Your Thai shrimp fried rice.
Chef Womzi.
Well, hello.
That looks very nice.
Yeah.
So as a glorified butler today, I've been told to serve the women.
Fantastic,
The ladies are outside. That looks very nice, by the way.
Okay, great.
So we are going to enjoy our prawns with our beautiful mango rice.
Yes.
With a glass of Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep.
So let me help you.
Sure, thank you.
Grab this one. I'll come
Okay,
down
doke.
to you.
All right. Do you
can
need
grab
me
the
to?
wine for me.
Okay.
Okay, today I'm
do
the butler,
that.
so I'm just, yeah.
You know what? I'll be your
I'll be
soup
put on
butler.
food patrol. What can I do?
All right, let me get my hat on because it's a hot summer day. Perfect day for some Nederburg and some guests. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you to my home. Actually, before I sit down, can I offer you some Nederburg Sauvignon Blanc?
Yes, please.
You heard me trying to say that correctly, hey?
We wouldn't even try.
So what would you call it?
Wine.
It's wine. Like wine that comes in a pretty box.
Okay, let me pour some for you. I'm trying to learn to pour wine correctly. Apparently, there's a method to doing it. Okay, the bottle is not supposed to touch the wine, and you're supposed to hold it something like this. So can I please
Like
have
a
your
little
glass too?
baby.
Yeah, like a little baby. I love this wine because it's just so affordable. It's like such a great house wine.
And it's like one of the few dry wines I can actually take.
Okay, that's a good thing. So if you're not really into dry wines, do try this Sauvignon Blanc from Nederburg because it's really good. Oh, I'm so excited to have you in my home finally.
We're so excited to be here.
So Mwangala, Anita, tell me about the Sistah Foundation and all the incredible things you do. I have just heard about you initially from social media. I've seen the marches, which are incredible, the women's marches. This one went global.
It did.
This
really
last
did.
march went
I mean, even the
global.
last one,
Even the
but
last
yeah.
one did, but this one was more...
was bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I had to say it because I've seen the growth. And it's exciting to see, women, just doing so much, what you're really passionate about. And I think that's what I love about you both. You've been truly passionate from the time we first met, like just hungry.
Yeah.
So tell me more about Sistah Foundation.
Do you want to start?
Basically, we're just like a group of radical feminists who just like want to change the world.
Yeah.
I think we started with, our whole thing was like, okay, we're gonna do like a small thing where like we're big sisters to young girls and mentor them.
Yeah.
And then like through mentoring them, we just realized like there was so much they needed, and we're like, we can make this into something way bigger.
Yeah, and some of those needs were something that we couldn't do alone, even with, because we started as a loose movement. So most of the stuff that we were doing to help the girls we were working with was coming from people that were volunteering their services, their funds, and all these things. But then some needs were greater. So the marches were a result of things that we can do alone. We're marching so that the government can hear, so that we can
Ladies,
get...
I'm going to disrupt
Oh,
this conversation. Put that over there.
Thank you so much,
you.
Womzi.
This looks
Joining
good.
us, Chef.
Yes.
Spider, it's not time for you to eat, so please go away. Go to your daddy. William, please call Spider. Thank you, honey. Okay, Spider doesn't want to go, but you can continue.
Yeah, so as I was saying, the marching were like a result of things that we couldn't do on our own. We wanted the help of the government, of other CSOs, and anybody that is willing to support, especially the last one, new government and everything. So we thought as they get into power, as they start the reform and fixing what was previously broken, they can look into our needs as well as women across the country.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Before we even go on, Womba, our darling chef, please tell us what you've prepared to go well with our drink as I pour you a drink.
Yeah, sure. So in front of you, you have a Thai shrimp fried rice. So this pairs really nicely with the one that you're drinking, the Sauvignon Blanc. With Nederburg Sauvignon Blanc, it has a lot of citrusy tastes and notes on it. So it works really well with Thai food, and that's what I have prepared for you today.
It looks
so,
good.
Hope you enjoy it.
Looks so good. So ladies, as we talk, let's dig in.
Yes.
Now, Womba, you're incredible young woman, and I'm glad that you're joining this conversation over a lovely glass of wine.
I'm glad to be here.
And I want to ask the three of you, what to you is feminism? Because I think it's misunderstood.
You know what? I feel like when people misunderstand feminism, it's because they want to. It's more of a, when it comes to things like fighting for the civil rights movement, right? That's pretty clear. You understand it's black people who are fighting for racism to end, right? And the only person who would be upset at the civil rights movement is someone that benefits from a racist system and wants it to continue. So white people would be mad. So in the exact same way, people who try to misunderstand feminism, it's because they benefit from a patriarchal system. And so you're going to, it's like when someone annoys you or irritates you, right? And you just don't like them. Even when you're doing something good, you would just hate them. So it's the exact same thing. Society hates women, so anything meant for women is hated.
That's a very good point. And like when we started being radical on social media, I feel like a lot of people couldn't separate their personal feelings towards us away from the movement. So it was like Mwangala, Anita, everybody else that was being radical on social media with us, so like, we don't like this girl, so we don't like anything that they stand for, and we're not interested in learning. So they named us what? Bitter feminists, angry feminists. We would interchange, and so we're cowards. We're trying to destroy marriage. We were lesbians, and all sorts of names. So I feel like a lot of people, especially in our conservative society, did not want to be associated to a movement that was bringing so much radicalism, I guess. So our feminism is just the freedom of women, and I don't know why anybody would oppose that at all. So I think it's personal prejudice that doesn't allow people to have an open mind and to see that this is beneficial to all of us, men inclusive.
That's incredible. Would you call yourself a feminist woman?
I would call myself a feminist, but a lot of modern feminism, I think, has been a little bit misconstrued. I would like to say I'm one for equal pay, equal rights, being treated equally with men in the workplace and all of that. And then there's maybe just a few things about feminism today in the modern world that are a little bit far-fetched, in my perspective anyway.
Like what?
But I was actually about to ask you a question before because I wanted to bring to light feminism obviously started more in the Western world. So I wanted to find out what's feminism in Zambia. Like, how do people understand feminism as Zambians?
I think, when you look at the history of how Zambian women have always lived, right? I attended like a really great seminar last week where one of like the founders, I can't really say founders, pioneers of feminism in Zambia was like giving a brief history. And she points out how like in the 50s and 60s, right? Black women were literally not even considered women. And we were not educated, we were not allowed to have school, like all these other things. Then it started like with little things of like women pushing. So give an example of Lulu, right? Before Lulu was married, she would be getting paid like a really great salary. The moment you get married, your salary will be cut in half. All the benefits you get would be gone, right? Things like maternity leave, right? Child marriages. Child marriages is just like a new thing. Zambia is like one of the top 20 countries with the highest child marriages in the world, right? And then there's also the fact that there was no safe abortions. Like, there's so many things, right? And so for us, when we think of like what feminism is for Zambian women, it's what it is for women all over the world. The freedom to have choices over your life, your job, literally
body.
Everything, your body. It's freedom. It's literally freedom. And so sometimes the biggest issue we have, because we have society in our bodies, it wants to define how you dress, what you wear, the type of job you have, who you date, literally everything. So they're going to have an issue and nitpick at it and say, you're losing your values. But what values are these that deny you freedom?
So I'm really interested to know, because I find myself to be seen as more old school. I'm a married woman, and sometimes I feel like a radical feminist would look down on me because I'm a married woman. I believe in equal pay. I believe in respect. I got into marriage wanting to be respected and loved. And I know that our culture insists on the respect. I remember saying, oh, why are you just telling me about respecting my husband? Tell him. But then I realized when I got married that there's egos to play also. There's just a way we are all made as women and men. And I wanted to understand from your perspective, and you know, you've said you're a radical feminist, how you see women like me who are married, slightly old school, how we can help push for better rights for a young girl like my daughter who's 13 years old. And this is why it's important for us to have like a cross-generational conversation. How can we help? What can we do? How can we not be misunderstood because we follow certain cultural practices that, like in my opinion and in my instance, I didn't feel I needed them until like the reality of marriage set in, and I'm like, well, I also naturally just want to cook for him. My husband loved to cook more than I did, but I just naturally wanted to do it for him. But I would think, is someone frowning upon this because I, you know? How do you see us, and how can we do better, or what can we do to help the movement?
I think the first thing is, as married women, you've got access to Vanachimbuza. And I've heard a lot of those teachings are quite, okay, disadvantaging for the woman and things like that. So maybe if there's a way that you could get them up to speed, you know, with like modern issues, because we're not in the 50s anymore, you know. I'm a working woman, and if I'm to get married, my husband has to know that. He can't always expect me to, what's this saying they have? Even if you're a feminist, when you get home, take off your feminist coat and be a wife. I'm just like, how does that even happen, you know? And then another thing is that feminism gives us the right to choose as women, you know. So even if you choose to be a housewife, you know, you are empowered to make that choice. You're not forced into being a housewife. You don't have your options taken away from you. Even the cooking, you say you love to cook for your husband, because I feel like naturally when you love someone, you want to nurture them, and nurturing looks different for everybody, for every relationship. So for you, if it's in the way you cook or in the way you want to feed him and your family, then that is a choice you have made. It's not because you have been told, Lulu, now that you're married, forsake everything and cook and sit down and wait for your husband to get hungry and cook for him and things like that. You've got the choice, you know, and you've got one of the amazing few that are going to help in the kitchen. But really, my point is, feminism allows you that option, you know, and if you can communicate to your audience, you know, you're following the younger women who look away when we're coming one side because they think here they are to discourage us from marriage. But like, I want to be married and I want to talk about rights. Like, it's not either or, you know, you can be everything, you can do everything as long as it's your choice.
So in the topic of marriage, then I guess it's important the partner that you marry, isn't it?
So important. Yeah. I love that you've said that, because I was going to bring that up. I think sometimes some women are sad in a marriage just because they married someone that doesn't understand who they are and what they stand for.
Yeah.
There are girls that hate cooking and hate nurturing. Me. Okay? So you need to find a man that is okay with that. You know, it's so important.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the Women's March? I just really want my audience to understand what the Women's March is about. How we can be a part of it as women in Zambia from different cultures, different races, because I saw that at your march, which was amazing.
Mostly, usually when we plan marches, right, we mostly work with the Global Women's March, where like marches are happening all over the world. But for this one, it was very different. We're working on it alone because like during the election period, a lot of stories were coming up where girls were being sexually abused. And it was literally every single day there's like a story, and people are getting angry, and it's so different, especially for us seeing what happened on social media. Like when we go back to 3-4 years ago, we would be like the 3-5 people calling out sexual abuse online, and everyone is like, you guys are overreacting. It's not that deep, you're just bitter. And then now it was so different because we've been insistent on educating people, and now like when stories come out, people come out in the masses to support victims, right? And so we thought, we have a new government, there's all this going on, and the biggest problem, because like part of our work is that we work with victims of sexual violence, right? And so we work with thousands of women, and only 2 women have ever made it to court, right? Yes, only 2 women have ever made it to court. Women
and the cases are still getting dragged.
Yes, you'd find like one of the cases were still in court 6 months, right? And so we thought, isn't this the best possible solution? There's this change, there's this wave to change, right? And people were actually reaching out saying, guys, we need a march. Like, we really need a march. And so that's how we decided, like, you know what? Let's gather up our resources, our time. Who do we know who wants to support this? And we put it out there, and it was amazing to see that the young people were just like, you know, we're in this. They're the ones that like took over, and like it's the next generation, Generation Z. And they're my favorite generation, honestly. I've always stand them.
Me too. And I want to address something that came up on comments on our Facebook page and my personal page as well. Everybody was just like, this is not a women's march, this is a rich kids march, and things like that. And I don't even know where that came from, but I kept telling everybody it's because the other people that they're calling poor, or the other women, is because they do not have the few hours that we had to go there. And ultimately, when we get listened to and we get policy reformed and other things are implemented, it means even the so-called poor women are going to benefit from that, because the rich kids went out and they marched and they spoke up and they protested. So I don't understand
it's like
why anybody would say that.
Right? We're talking about how like you can help. So it's in this moment.
Yeah.
We see these women, they don't have the luxury to leave their jobs, to leave their children, right? Like they don't have a nanny like, hey, can you come and take care of the kids while I go for the march? And most of them come from very abusive communities where their husbands won't even allow them to leave their homes, right? They don't have that freedom. So us who have the privilege to go in the streets and march, we have to use our privilege and our voices to not only speak for ourselves, but the women who can't and the ones who are going to be born one day and need someone to stand up for them.
I love these conversations, but we should also note that the Sistah Foundation is working in low-cost communities also.
Yes.
And you are doing, you know, you're impacting these women's lives. You're trying to push them to actually now take their perpetrators to court.
Absolutely.
And you're speaking on things like the OneStop Centres, which I keep on trying to scream about any chance I get, that if you've been sexually assaulted
I
as a
remember
woman,
we first found out about them from you when we went to visit the one at UTH, and we just thought how amazing of an initiative it is.
And I mean, how can that not be mainstream news with all the abuse going on?
I think lately, with everything that's been going on and checking, like going deeper into our work and seeing the different one-stop centers, it's not every one-stop center that's good.
Yeah,
That one we
unfortunately.
went to is the most amazing. The rest of them are, you'd go like where women are like, oh, I've come to report. Where that one has like, it will take you to a private place, you're able to report. That one, they want you to talk in front of everyone.
Everybody, they're
about
standing
it.
That's one thing I
staring
can
at
help
you.
with. We need to change that.
Yeah. And so
We
that's
need to
like one
change
of
that.
the, like, our march had like call to action points,
Yeah.
and that's like part of it. Having properly made one-stop centers in almost every constituency where women can easily go to and report, where they actually have trained staff. Like even the victim support unit, it was created, what was that, 1999, and up to now it's like they get less funds every year. It even goes to like the gender ministry, right? Every time a government wants to cut budgets, where's the first
first
place?
ones,
Gender-based violence, those things, they
community
always cut.
development, all those,
anything
the
that
social
affects women.
ministries, in
Yeah.
short.
Okay,
yeah.
I am tagging the president and all the policymakers that you know on
Yes,
this post
please.
to
Yes,
make
please.
sure that
Yeah.
we call them out and make sure that there are changes
Yeah.
that are made.
And while we're still on the conversation of the victim support, I feel like the people that work there should be independent from the police, or at least they should be an external person for checks and balances, because I grew up in a police camp, and like, you know, those are places where abuse is, it is piled up, you know, like hearing couples fighting, like your neighbor, your friend's mother being beaten is just like, it's daily news, you know, it's nothing to be worried about and things like that. And then when you go to the victim support. You know, you're going to your abuser's friend to go and say, your friend beat me up. And then they're going to say, go back and sort it out. And things like that, you know.
That,
yes,
actually.
yes. They'll send you back. They'll be like, oh, it was a lover's spat, you know. Go and sort it out in the home and things like that. And away from the victim support, these are teachings, again, that are being given by Banachimbu. So if your husband beats you and things like that, you know, sort it out within the home and don't take it outside, you know. So I just feel like it needs, aside from restructuring, there has to be accountability, like an external person to make sure that victims actually get supported instead of being sent back or blamed, being asked, what did you do? You know, what were you wearing? Excuse me, and things like that. So, yeah.
Oh gosh, I thought I loved you, but I love you guys more. I love you. I hope you're enjoying your meal.
Oh, it's so good.
I love you guys more. I feel like we need to do more episodes and chat more and just do more. Like, I'm just so happy that you accepted to come here. And now on a lighter note, I want to ask, okay, because Nederburg have provided this day for us, provided us with Chef Womsy here. I hope you're enjoying your wine. Does anyone need a refill? I do.
I do.
Okay, you see? Anyone need more wine? So while I'm filling you all up, what is your wine story? You always have that one story. You know, there's a tequila story. But what is your wine story?
For me, this feels like being asked what my favorite book is, because there's just so many stories. Which one do I pick?
So who goes first?
Can I go first?
Okay.
It ties down to the march, right? It was last year. It was like early January. We had just like done the march. We were like really tired. It had just been like a stressful 2 weeks, right? So we had an after party. And everyone's like picking what alcohol they'll drink. I'm like, I'll be on wine because it's my happy drink. And next thing I know is that I am really happy and very tipsy, and I'm dancing on tables. I am shaking on whoever. It's like, it's so amazing. And I'm so drunk, but really happy, like drunk in a way that I could remember, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like an amazing moment where I'm just like with my friends, we're dancing, got
And
on
celebrating like this big moment.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
it was really
Big
fun and really
achievement.
great. And yeah, someone stole our alcohol.
Don't steal the wine, guys. Don't steal the wine.
They would. They would know.
We need a break. They have
forgotten.
And Mwangala, what's your wine story?
It's a little bit related to Anita's, but away from a specific event. Like we have been saying, Sistah, as well as just like our small community of feminists. We're a group of young women and other people that work with us. So what we do, like sometimes when we get stressed, we bootstrap all of our work. The events, the activism and everything is from our own pockets, you know, and things like that. So sometimes we feel like unwinding. So we say, guys, let's put together 100 patches. You know, if we're 5-10 people, we'll go in a store, and obviously Nederburg is one of like the most affordable options, but also packs a punch. You know, so if you buy 2-3 of the dry whites or even the dry reds, you drink, you know, you unwind. You speak about the movement, you speak about future plans, and this always happens at home. That's what I love about it. So there's no worrying about how am I going to get home, who's driving and things like that, but like you're always home. So if you're sitting on the floor, you pass out, you wake up there tomorrow morning and you're going to be fine. So that is one of my most exciting wine stories.
Yeah, it's also very therapeutic.
Absolutely.
Yes, totally. What's your wine story, Womba?
My wine story, actually, from a time we vacationed in Livingston with some family and friends. A few years back, it was a lovely, lovely little vacation. We stayed at the Avani and we just chilled by the poolside. So we wanted to be all grown up, you know, have a little glasses of wine and whatnot.
You know, for the gram.
Exactly. Be a little classy. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, too many. And the night just became something else. We danced the night away. We had amazing food. And I just remember it was a lovely time of just interacting with my sisters, my friends. Yeah.
Well, my wine story, ni vama lavo.
Of course.
I had no clue about wines. I thought wine was just like disgusting. But
Did someone make you drink? Oh, I can't.
well, no.
The one that can't be named.
No, but William actually introduced me to appreciating wine. And so our joint passion for food like helped me now become passionate about wines and understand like how good wine, like how wine can be enjoyed also. So I love it with food. I love pairing it with food. And that's why we were able to do this today. William and I, so many times, we'll cook ourselves a little meal and sit outside on our little, veranda and enjoy a meal and enjoy some wine or enjoy cheeses with wine. That's our little like us time. Because we work together, we are parents together, and then we sometimes forget to have us time. So for me, my wine story is that, that like wine always reminds me of my us time with Williams, like that little special time we get to sit back, relax, because we get so busy. So now someone is going to be like, she's always talking about her husband. Just I didn't appreciate it before actually I got married. I never appreciated wine.
I feel like wine is our bonding juice.
It really is.
Right? Yeah, because it's like I'll text her and I'm like, I'm coming over and she's like, bring wine.
Bring wine.
Or she's like, I'm sending you money for wine. Let's get wine.
Oh, I like that. It's the bonding juice. So, Chef, we enjoyed your food. It was so good. Is there any way that people can get in touch with you if they want to taste this incredible food?
Yeah, of course. I have a page on Instagram and Facebook. It's called Womsnoms. So you can go over there, check out my stuff. And I'm also on Twitter as Chef Womsy. And you can get my email addresses off both pages. And you can send me an email. I can also do dinners. I do couples dinners, birthday dinners, you name it, cakes, all of that. The whole shebang. So
That sounds amazing.
I just remembered something random.
Yeah?
We have worked together before, but like with the active sister work. I think you came to my place in Chalala to pick up some pants you were donating somewhere.
yes.
Yeah, so we had like some clothing to give away at Sister, and she was facilitating a donation somewhere.
Wow,
so
that's nice.
Yeah, it just came to me just
Oh,
now.
wow, look at that. I didn't even know about that connection.
I know.
connected. I was actually kind of wondering. I'm pretty sure I've seen her face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So
A couple years back.
if someone wants to get in touch with the Sister Foundation, how can they get in touch with you? How can they see what you're working on? How can they donate and, push for your work?
Yeah. We have a website, first of all, sister.org, and that's where we want to facilitate most of the donations, but we're still working, they're still doing the back end of that. So away from the website, we're on social media. Facebook is Sister Foundation, something on Instagram and Twitter as well. And Sister, we spell it as Sistah as opposed to the sister.
Awesome.
That we know, yeah.
Well, it's going to be scrolling on the screen right now, and you can make sure that you follow them on social media. You go over to their website and donate to this amazing cause. The Wood Kitchen is not just about cooking. It's about also bringing amazing people to our table so that we can enjoy over a beautiful glass of wine like the Nederburg Sauvignon Blanc. So listen to you incredible ladies doing incredible things. Cheers. And to you at home, thank you so much for catching us. Catch us on the next Nederburg special coming soon. Bye.